Let's move on to another spot where I see a team spiraling towards their imminent death, and that's the Denver Broncos. Broncos at Chargers. Chargers open at 6.5. There is a 6 now at Pinnacle. The Denver Chargers total opened at 44. There's now 44.5 on the board. I want to back the Chargers here, and I know it's not a comfort when you look at this offense and how banged up the Chargers are, and then expect them to cover over a touchdown. Mike Williams, Travis Benjamin, Dontrell Inman all hurt, but Keenan Allen is good to go. And maybe that's all they need. Their tight ends are all beaten up. Hunter Henry out, Virgil Green out, Sean Culkin on IR. But we've seen what Rivers does when Hunter Henry's out. He just doesn't even look for tight ends. He doesn't even look towards the tight ends at all. So I think that he's the kind of quarterback that can handle this beat-up offense, but Keenan Allen, good to go. The loss of Chubb for the Broncos is huge. Their defense was underwhelming before his injury. Is Von Miller even trying? I don't even know what's going on with Von Miller. It feels like he's setting himself up to get traded at the deadline. Flacco's terrible. Is this Flacco's last start? I think that they got to go to their first-round pick here. Flacco just shouldn't be. If the Broncos are going to lose out, I don't know why Fangio is going to do it with Flacco under center. Chargers are starting to get their groove. They're going to get better and better. Melvin Gordon on track to return to a starter's workload in Week 5. I want to back the Chargers here at home. Donnie RightSide, is this too many points?
I think it's a little bit too many points. And I know the Denver Broncos aren't playing really good football, but you have to take a look at what the Chargers have done on the season as a whole and try to play it. Because, again, we're not just talking about, hey, can the Chargers win the foot? Sure, they can. They're at home. They're technically the better football team. But looking at what they've done, they went to overtime against Indianapolis. So basically it was a tie game after 4 quarters. Against the Detroit Lions, they lost 13-10. Against Houston at home, they lost 27-20. And, oh, yeah, they beat the Miami Dolphins, which everybody squashes by like 30 points. So I take absolutely nothing out of that. And you lost Melvin Ingram in that football game, which is a huge pass rusher to combo that front 7 that they have. Now, I'm not saying Denver's anything good. The Chubb injury is absolutely disastrous. I thought Von Miller woke up a little bit last week, had a strip sack fumble. It did some nice things out there. The one thing I have to look at is, are we getting any help yet back from this Denver secondary? Is Kareem Jackson going to come back? Is, Bryce Callahan going to come back? Because that's going to play a big role. Do I think the Chargers are better, good enough to win this football game? Absolutely. But just taking a look at overall on their season, they're not the type of team to win. Unless, again, the Miami Dolphins are almost in another, quadrant of the NFL. You can almost take their games and throw them out like in football where Alabama plays like an FCS program. They're that bad, and you're going to run up some ugly numbers versus them. I don't know if I trust the Chargers yet to win football games by 7 points until I see it against a quality opponent, or at least a decent level opponent. I'll probably side with the Denver Broncos. Will I be betting this game? Absolutely not, because when you're 0-4, you can almost hear the trombones and you almost hear taps being played in the background at this point for Denver. We're like, hey, you know what? Maybe we could trade Chris Harris and get some, something for him, or trade somebody else or make a move toward the future. I hear that's a tough one to take. I'll be staying away, but I don't trust the Chargers winning by a touchdown just yet.
And neither does the chat. Clint Richardson, Denver plus points. Steve, Denver plus points. DT Doug says Chargers have no home. They play 16 road games. And Robert Weimer says Denver wins outright in this one. They've been in all their games this year. At 0-4, the desperation is set in so deep that they cover against another ugly Chargers game. Justin Grimes says Chargers don't get a couple wins here to keep pace with KC. The division might be wrapped up in coming weeks. I agree with that. Chargers need to win this game. Well, I put a question mark beside the Chargers. I put a question mark beside the Texans, but I still like that Bills-Titans under.